Hey, and welcome back to the brand new episode on how to do an end of quarter review in your solopreneur business. I'm your host, Supriya, holistic business and marketing coach. Welcome back, and thank you so much for hitting subscribe to all our new listeners and subscribers on YouTube. Today, I want to speak to you about quarter one, how to do an end of quarter review, and also how to show up for the following quarter. Are you ready? So, if you're a solopreneur, every quarter is like a checkpoint, okay? And not just looking at it like a finish line, rather, you've got to look at it as a checkpoint. This is coming from a book that I have read, which has been republished under different names, but this process is called periodization. Periodization is working with 12-week chunks, which looks at not just going for this massive end of year goal, rather breaking your whole year's goals into 90-day chunks. Okay, so how you want to look at what we're going to share today is, what do you need to look at to wrap up quarter one? Then how you want to show up for quarter two. Okay, so I'm going to share with you things in two segments. One will be on the reflection. One will be about how to set up for a successful quarter two. Sound good? Okay, so we're going to look at what do we have to reflect on. Now, commonly, if you're looking at your personal habits or personal life, you could ask yourself, like, what's working, what's not working. Say, for instance, if you have a health goal and you, like this hemisphere, we've just finished summer and we're now very quickly arriving at autumn because the weather has changed and, we can really feel autumn come along. But with summer, some of your health goals might have been to get fitter or learn a different skill like swimming, or do more swimming, or get fitter at swimming. And what you would want to ask yourself now is, well, where am I at? What can I do now that I couldn't do before? Right? Like for me, I didn't do any swimming this summer. I'm shocked at myself, even though my life goal is to be a surfer. I know. It's going to be a big stretch for me to start to swim laps. And one of my goals this year is to be able to at least swim a few laps, of a 50-meter pool. And some of you might be thinking, what the heck, Supriya, that's nothing, because that's exactly how my nephew reacted. But my skill level is not as good. Like, I have been learning swimming as an adult, and at least now I can swim freestyle, right? And I could probably save myself because I'm no longer feeling the fears. So yeah, baby steps along the way. And so reflecting on that for the first quarter, one would ask, well, where am I at? Cool. And as far as my laps go, I'll be at 0. Yes. So what about you? What area of your life did you set a goal on, and how are you going so far? Where are you at? What's the measurable metric there? Now let's flip it to the business metrics, right? When we look at the business, we look at, hey, what are some of the results that we created there? Revenue and clients, asking questions like, did I actually hit my financial goals? Why and why not? Okay. Did I enroll clients that I love working with? Why or why not? What about marketing and visibility? Did you market yourself? How many times? Where are you at now with marketing? Do you have a system? Do you have a strategy that you're following? And what are sort of the daily goals that you have to meet, and how are you going with that? Where are you at? Or an example, I have a goal every week to do 3 posts on LinkedIn. And if I don't do that, that means currently that's where I'm at, right? So throughout the quarter, I had a goal of posting 12 weeks of content 3 times a week. So 12 times 3 is 36 posts. Where am I at? I can count those posts and I can go, right, did 36 posts. Okay. How many newsletters did you write? How many podcasts did you release? And what were some of the metrics that you saw? Did it grow? Did it come down? Did your follower numbers grow? Did they reduce? What are some of those things? What about your conversion numbers? Meaning, who turned into a paying customer? Out of all the inquiries that your marketing activities generated, how many of those inquiries turned into paying customers? We had a 50% conversion rate this quarter, which is a 4 out of 10, okay, for my business. But we were able to quickly I have been able to quickly identify exactly what needs to change in the next quarter. But what about you? What are your conversion numbers? Next, your energy and productivity. Now, I talk about productivity a lot. And when it comes to productivity, we're not just looking at how much you can do in a day. It's about what you're doing in your day. And what are some of the ROIs of those activities? As a solopreneur, you're not just doing work to serve clients, but you have to play the roles that's required of you to make sure the business gets business, right? So did you work in alignment to your energy? Did you work as much as you needed to or were required to? Did you feel energized or drained? Okay. And how did your productivity work for you? I think roughly we get about 8 hours a day, working hours, where our bandwidth and our productivity can be, best. And some of us, we don't work during the common hours that people work in, meaning working on your business and in your business. So your clients may only be able to see you within business hours. But what that means is that you need to do the other work outside of business hours. And you get to choose when that happens, right? For me, I don't do any work in the evenings, neither do I do them in the early mornings. I work on it on a couple of days a week. And that is even spread out through quarters so that I don't get really crammed by all this deep work or any sort of administrative work that makes me feel drained. Now, of course, once you learn how to look at your schedule, how you spend your time, what you spend your time on, you'd be able to create a nice aligned schedule for yourself that will help you feel energized and also productive. And not just feel it, but also be productive. And how about your decisions? Have you been feeling confident in your decisions? Did you feel confident in your decisions, in your habits? And how did you feel? Did you feel like you were encouraged by your habits, or did you feel like you were discouraged by your habits? All of this plays a key role in how you are right now. Right? Your habits and daily routines, your conversion skills, your marketing skills, your ability to track numbers and being able to do those activities that bring in the income. So all of this included, what I want you to reflect on is, where am I currently at? If you want to break it down into very simple 3 business numbers, which is how many inquiries, meaning how many email addresses and phone numbers do you have, meaning names, phone numbers, emails do you have, in addition to what you had in December. So between January and March, how many new names and contacts do you have that have inquired about your services? How many clients signed up, turned into new paying clients? And what's the total number in revenue you generated in the last 90 days? Those are the 3 specific numbers that you need to know. The next thing you need to ask yourself is, what are the activities you did to drive those results? We're looking at marketing and sales activities that we just talked about. Did you post? How many times did you post? Did you have a campaign? What was the campaign and what was the result? Or at least track what campaign created what result. Did you do networking? Did you do email marketing? What were those activities that you did that created those 3 results? New contacts, paying clients, and total revenue generated. That's it. That's your reflection for the quarter that has just finished or is about to finish. Okay, we've got 6 more days when I'm recording this. So yeah, give or take, our quarter is done. And now I want to talk about the 4 key elements of a powerful end of quarter review. Number 1, who you are being as a solopreneur. Number 2, what are some of the goals that you are aligned to and that are motivating you? Number 3 is, what is going to make you a successful solopreneur? The successful solopreneur success formula. And 4 is your mindset and ecology. Okay, so when you are listening to this, think of it as if you and I are working together one-on-one. And this is exactly how we would do it if we were in front of each other on a Zoom call or a phone call. And these are the things that we'd be talking about. Look, if you just see yourself as a doctor or the expert in your business instead of a business owner, you are going to do everything it takes to avoid selling and marketing. You're going to do everything to avoid making decisions that are going to help you grow your business. The reason is, number 1, identity. Your identity as a solopreneur means, what does it mean to you? Okay, if you don't yet see yourself as a CEO, meaning the Chief Executive Officer, the function of a CEO is to grow the business, you're going to struggle to act like one. Actions are a result of our thinking. Would you agree with that? So a question you can ask yourself, imagine me asking you this, did you show up as the business owner that you want to be? Or did you get stuck in your old patterns of doing the busy work and just completely avoid and hide behind the busy work? Be completely honest with yourself. Now, if we were sitting here, talking to each other, the first segment of this episode would actually highlight your results, right? Your first quarter results. And from there, we would be able to work out, well, what's the identity that's actually creating these results? Okay. Are you being the marketer? Are you being the salesperson? Are you being the CEO? Are you being the manager? Or are you just being the expert in the business? Expert being the teacher, the coach, the trainer, the person that, does the service provision. Getting this? So key number 1 is to have a powerful quarter ahead. You must look at who's the identity that is creating this quarter's result that has been created. If you're not managing to show up as the version of yourself that can generate those results, then the struggle is just going to remain, because that identity piece now flows into the thinking, the thinking that's happening, that's then creating all the other things, like how you make decisions, how you talk to people, how you market, how you, make offers, etc., etc. So the identity is kind of the big strategy piece behind how you actually conduct yourself as a business owner or a solopreneur. Piece number 2, or key element number 2, are the goals. Okay, so last week's episode, I actually talked about each role in your business or identity has its own goals, meaning its own functions. And if you were to measure their performance, it would be that the marketer, their performance is measured through, well, did the content engage or increase demand in whoever's consuming the content, right? Is it bringing or magnetizing people toward your brand? A salesperson's goal or key performance is whoever comes in your environment, are they getting the right guidance to be able to make an informed decision, to make a purchasing decision, right? And then the business manager's key performance goal is to make sure that these identities in the business are performing according to the systems that have been installed in place, right? Now, as a CEO, you're overseeing that, but also you're interested in marketing and sales. You're interested in a product that matches the clients that are actually coming through your door, or the performance of the product, the performance of the actual offer that's in the market. They're thinking very business goal oriented. They're thinking very business value oriented. They're thinking very business mission oriented thoughts. So the goals aspect, if you and I were talking directly, I want you to know that your goals are always aligned to the role you're playing. So yes, we do set a money goal for the quarter, right? And if your money goal is around the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 mark, yes, how you performed in this quarter will be reflective of how you showed up, wouldn't it? Each role that plays a part in creating that revenue goal or revenue result then gives you a chance to reflect on, are my goals truly mine, or am I chasing what I think I should want? As the saying goes, right? If you don't have goals, you're not going to have anything to strive for. So you won't be motivated to do anything. So a lot of the times it's not that you're not hitting your financial goals, but at what cost? Do they motivate you, or do they kind of make you hide under a rock? I did the hiding for such a long time, and I can't convince myself that I'm not interested in making money. Like, money is not my driver. But guess who talks like that? Money is not my driver is the service provider's language, right? Because they're not driven by those goals. Their goals is to provide the highest level of services, making the customer happy, and making sure the customer is well looked after. But your goal as a solopreneur is to make sure that your goal drives you, motivates you. But it doesn't drive you and motivate you if your identity is not there with you, right? Your identity has its own set of values, own beliefs, as well as the way they conduct themselves. Yes? Can you see it? So your intellectual capacity has to be like there, because if the identity is missing, then the intellect's always going to look for evidence of what the identity it's operating from. Just to simplify this whole thing is, if you're constantly looking at, well, are the clients happy? Did I do a good job with the clients? And did I do a good job with how I delivered that course or service? That's a very technician level thinking, technician level goal. And yes, as a business owner, that's exactly what you want them to be concerned about. You want them to be concerned about the customer. And as a business owner, you are both interested in the customer experience, which is managed by the technician. But as a business owner, your goal is to make sure that your revenue goals are met, that you're not resisting them and you're motivated by them, and that there are activities there that drive that goal or that drive you closer toward that goal. You meaning your business. Let's go to element number 3, which is the daily activities that a solopreneur must do to be able to create the money goal that the business has. So your daily actions create momentum. So the question you want to ask yourself is, did you consistently take the right decisions and actions, or did you let fear and distractions win? And one of the biggest true reasons why you end up getting confused along the weeks and the days, right? If there were any time where you procrastinated and you froze and you felt like, well, what do I do now? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I want to do this, or maybe I should create a new product. All of this jumbled up thinking is the result of having a confused identity. If you are looking at your day-to-day activities, remember, if you are there in your business 8 hours, 8 hours in your business means you've got to divide that time up in, 80-20. What are the income producing activities and what are the delivery activities? Delivery means you're delivering the product or service that you've taken money for, right? But if you are not doing delivery, what are you working on that's going to cause an inquiry to come through or a sale to come through? That's the way you've got to think about creating daily action items that are going to drive the needle forward. So if you don't currently have a strategy, a business and marketing strategy, this is where you'll be confused. You won't have those numbers that I was speaking of earlier, where I've got numbers like 3 posts a week, 12 weeks in a quarter, 36 posts that speak to my offers, right? That increase demand in people that are my target audience, that are listening or reading or consuming that content. They go, right, well, this person knows what they're talking about because they're sharing from a place that understands where I am. And they're also someone that has achieved freedom from that problem. And there's someone that shows me a structured pathway to help me overcome this problem. Okay, that's my marketing, right? Even though you are listening to this, I'm helping you see that I'm actually someone that knows about this problem very well. I'm someone that's overcome this problem, and I'm also sharing with you a step-by-step process on how you too can overcome this problem. So your daily activities, they need to be aligned to your quarterly goal. And that quarter's goal is a chunked down version of your yearly goal. And you're not looking to hit a yearly goal, you're looking to hit your daily goals. And so you need to map it out. And we do that through talking about your profit planning. Then once you've done your profit planning, we also look at how your business operates. So accordingly, we work out your marketing and sales processes. And then from there, we give you your daily activities, right? So it's all chucked down. It's really doable. It's sustainable. So you don't feel like, oh my God, do I have to create a post every day, or et cetera, et cetera. All those limiting thoughts that come up, and then just sabotage your momentum. Getting this? So think about it like this. If you didn't generate any leads in this last quarter, was it a time issue or was it a mindset block for you? If it was a mindset block or a time issue, the two things that I said before this, which is identity and then goals, then those are the two results, or those are the two causes of you not knowing what you need to do every single day. Now, when I say daily activities, when you have worked out an aligned schedule for yourself, meaning you know what marketing activities and sales activities need to happen every single day. Some days I don't have anything to do because I have other work to do. I'm not just a coach running a coaching and consulting business. I'm also a trainer. I have other duties, right? I have family duties. I have study duties, right? I have my self-care duties. I have my financial goals duties. So do you. You have all those other duties and goals that you need to also perform in. Life is multidimensional. So that is why a sustainable way of doing things is to be clear about what are some of the things that you must have done to have created those results that you're seeking to create. And here is my final thought on this about this thing that people think about, struggling people think about posting and how often they need to post. So it's not the frequency, it's what you are saying in that post. Okay, you could share one webinar a month, which is what I'm about to do from next month. I'm going to get into my free trainings every month once again. And that's my strategy to generate more leads, more inquiries, more paying clients. What are you going to do that is aligned to you and your customers' need for clarity to be working with you? You need to choose one, and it needs to be aligned to both you and your clients' needs. Okay? And it's all doable. Everything is figure outable. So stop confusing yourself and stop scaring yourself that as soon as you say yes to a marketing strategy, that means you have to post every day. That's BS. You don't. Your client or market share is so small, smaller than those people, those internet gurus that you're following, which are telling you that you have to post 100 times a week. You don't. You don't even have to come onto the Instagram stories. Okay, if that's not aligned to your brand position, if that's not aligned to your customer behavior and needs, you don't do that. And by the way, and final thing on that is, again, you don't have to do anything that doesn't align with you, especially because you are a solopreneur, you're not a big organization. So your resources should tell you what your capacity is, and based on those and based on your goals, you must do what's aligned to you. Otherwise, there will be no business. Getting this? And it works. Let's move on. And I bet you would say the same thing with your clients too. To your clients, if you're a health coach or a health professional or a service provider that shows other people to succeed with their goals, what advice would you give them if they said, yeah, but you know what, I don't have more than this much time, or yeah, but I don't know how to do this yet, and I don't know if I can fit that in? How would you help them solve that problem? Would you tell them then, oh, well, then I guess that's not for you? I don't think so. You help them become more resourceful, which is what I do for my clients. I hold you accountable. I make you more resourceful. We call this regenerative coaching. And we help you see that you need to learn how to think better thoughts than try to figure it all out by yourself. Final one is your mindset, which is in line with what we were just saying. Your mindset is key, foundational, and mindset is so important because when we work with my clients, right, when we work together, clients and I have different tools. And some of the things that I use are, one of them could be the Metadynamics Profiler. By the way, if you want a free 32-question profiling test for you, send me a DM or send me a message or leave a review. I will happily give you that, gift you that, so that you can learn how to identify your unconscious thought patterns, which is affecting your success, right? The rate of success that you're achieving through your activities. So the Metadynamics Profiler is a combination of using the Big 5 personality traits system and NLP, thinking models, and values, and all of that combined together. Metadynamics is a trademarked framework created by Remy Pearson, which looks at your thinking pattern, conscious and unconscious. Looks at what are you always good at, which means you're also, in the shadow with some. And until you make those conscious, how are you ever going to improve? So what I would help you do is we together discover, are you working in alignment with the right mindset and ecology needed to be able to succeed? Okay, because we can do the best planning, we can have the best strategy, and we can have a great little roadmap made out for you. But here is where everything falls short. Yes, your identity. Yes, your goals. Yes, your daily activities, right? Why do you think none of it works? Is because you are not clear from the start. Meaning you're not actually motivated to think resourcefully, especially when you're going to try something new. Like all these habits that I had to develop myself, they were brand new. It almost feels like, when you rearrange your home, and, the other day I realized this myself. So I like to rearrange the living area in my home. And I put the spice cupboard in another place, and my habit of walking to where it used to be is still there, even after 5 days of it not being in that new of that old location. So just know that your mind is so used to doing things the way it does. You need to retrain yourself, and the moment you take that first step, it will feel clunky, it will feel unnatural, and that's why you don't do any of the stuff that you should do. So having awareness and conscious awareness of your thinking profile, it helps you check yourself and also helps you set new behavioral goals to be able to master your path to success. Let's look at the next tool that I use, which is called logical levels. And the logical levels is to help you see what is the identity you're currently playing at and what is the ideal identity for you. What identity I need is not the same identity you need. The shifting that happens when you do your logical levels is you'll be able to see, and by the way, this kind of exercise usually takes an hour between a client and I. And what we do is we basically flush out what are the signs and symptoms you're noticing now, meaning the results you're creating or not creating. What are some of your life situation and business situation now? Then we look at what are your skill set? What are your skills that you have currently? What have you accumulated so far? Then we look at what are your beliefs? What are some of the beliefs that you have, right? What are some of the daily emotions you're experiencing? And then finally, after looking at all of that, you look at, well, who are you actually being? In your mind, you would be thinking like, a lot of the clients that do this, before they do this, they're like, in their mind, they're thinking, oh yeah, I'm this successful solopreneur, I'm this successful expert, I'm on my way to, becoming that. But they have no idea who they're actually showing up as at the moment, because they are at a very logical level. They are just telling themselves that that's who I'm becoming without actually putting in place the things that is required to be able to produce that identity, right? That whole shift. So for the new map to becoming a new identity, we actually flip that. logical level process, we look at, well, who is the identity we want to become? What sort of beliefs do they have, right? What sort of skills and acumen do they have? And what sort of results do they create? So it becomes like a full-on map that you can live into step by step. And you can also use that as a gap analysis tool to be able to say that, look, right now I'm making $0 in my business and I want to make $10,000 a month. Well, where am I at? Do I have the skills? Do I have the beliefs? Do I have the acumen? Do I have the tools to be able to generate 10K a month, right? If you don't, why do you blame yourself? This is where the ecology plays a big part. That asking yourself, do my goals and actions support the lifestyle and freedom that I want? So the final tool we use is taken from neuro-linguistic programming, and that is called doing an ecology check. There's a set of questions that I ask to be able to walk you through all the negative and positive consequences of you doing the new thing in order to flush it out with your consciousness about, well, what are you telling yourself consciously and unconsciously about this change that you're trying to welcome into your life? Will your goals affect you negatively or positively? Will your goal affect your people, or who will it impact negatively and positively? How will achieving these goals support you in, doing whatever it is that you want to do? Getting this? So when we do a mindset and ecology check, we're just not asking clever questions like, well, are you in alignment or not? There are some measurable tools that I use to be able to do that work with you, which not only helps you gain more deep information about how your mind works, what are some of the things in your blind spot, what are the things that you need to put in front of you in your future, and what are the things that you need to do right now to be able to create that future that you want to create. Okay. So how can this all tie up into your review of this quarter? Well, your end of quarter review isn't just about what has worked and what hasn't, right? It's about understanding who you are also becoming. It's also about understanding who you are becoming as a business owner and setting yourself up for a better future, meaning better next quarter. In the book Periodization, they're saying that, bigger companies and more successful companies, they don't just stop. They never stop because they're looking at 90 days like a whole year. The amount of energy that we put toward achieving year-end goals needs to happen every quarter. Okay, think of it as like quarter ends are your new years. Okay, so every new quarter is like a happy new year for you. When you can do that, all of a sudden you start to see the shift in the way you think, the way you perform, and you're not looking for holidays or escapes. You're looking at, how can I optimize myself? How can I work on just the things that matter? And how can I then eliminate all the things that I just keep myself busy with, right? Business is like becoming an athlete. You've got to think of yourself as an athlete. You cannot think of yourself as a lazy, hopeless person. You are always looking at bettering your performance. And when you want to better your performance, you have to have trackable, measurable goals and metrics to look at so that you can keep performing at a better rate every single quarter. So what can I do for you? Well, I want you to tell me, has this episode helped you? How has it helped you? Leave a review if you've never done that. I would love to get a review from one of you that has been listening for a while and has just listened to this. I have been getting lots of queries through our podcast, which is a breakthrough in my new business. So if you are creating content, the purpose of you creating content is to invite someone into your environment. And this year alone, I've had 3 inquiries to work with me through a podcast funnel. This is awesome. This is a very good result for a new business like mine. And I will tell you what, you need to be aiming for those things as well. And what that means is it's not just me, it's also the fact that the content I'm sharing is actually helping you make a decision about working with me and making a move toward your success. Okay, so this is the stuff we coach you on. So I won't go further into this. It's just about how to get more and more efficient with what you do instead of trying to do everything that everyone tells you to. So if you want to share your perspective, your review, your feedback, you can do so via a review. Share it with a friend. If you can think of anyone else that can benefit from the content that I've shared today, please do that. If you have clients, use this methodology on them. And if you'd like to learn these frameworks that I shared with you, of course, work with me. If you want coaching and accountability, you can apply to my 90-day bootcamp. The link is down in the show notes. Or you can also reach out or apply for a strategy session, which is completely free, one-on-one strategy session, which is where we can assess yourself and your business and we can set new goals. It's completely free, and we can also work toward you having a new roadmap built out just for you to see if you'd like to work with me. Okay, I'd love to hear what you thought of this episode. And until the next one, enjoy your week and happy wrapping up first quarter.